इज्जत और बुजुर्गी की कसम, मैंने ये मजबूत आसमान, फैली हुई जमीन, रोशन चांद, चमकीला सूरज, घूमते सैयारे, थलकता समंदर, तैरती कश्ती, ये सारी चीजें सिर्फ तुम लोगों की खातिर और तुम्हारी ही मोहब्बत में पैदा की हैं। और खुदा ने मुझे इजाजत दे दी है कि मैं भी चादर के अंदर आपके पास आ जाऊं। ए खुदा के रसूल, क्या आप मुझे इजाजत देते हैं? रसूल खुदा सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया, ए खुदा की वही लाने वाले, तुम पर सलाम हो। हाँ, तुम्हें इजाजत है। फिर जिब्रील भी हम लोगों के साथ चादर में आ गए। इसके बाद जिब्रील ने मेरे बाबा जान से कहा, खुदा आपको, आप लोगों को वही भेजता है और कहता है, इन्नमा युरीदुल्लाहु लियुज़हिबानकुम रिज्सा अहलल बैति व युतहिरकुम तत्हीरा। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला मुहम्मदिन व आले मुहम्मद। कि वाकई खुदा ने ये इरादा कर लिया है कि आप अहले बैत से नजासत दूर रखें और आप लोगों को पाको पाकीज़ा रखें। तब अली अलैहिस्सलाम ने बाबा जान से कहा, ए खुदा के रसूल, मुझे बताइए कि इस चादर के अंदर आ जाना खुदा के नजदीक क्या फजीलत रखता है। इस पर रसूल खुदा ने फरमाया, उस जात की कसम जिसने मुझे नबी बनाया और लोगों की निजात की खातिर मुझे रिसालत के लिए मुंतखब किया। अहले जमीन की जिस महफिल में हमारे शियाने अली और दोस्तदार इकट्ठे होंगे और हमारी ये हदीस बयान करेंगे, उन पर खुदा की रहमत नाजिल होगी। फरिश्ते उनको हल्के में ले लेंगे और जब तक वो लोग महफिल से रुखसत नहीं हो जाएंगे, उनके गुनाहों की बख्शिश के लिए दुआ करते रहेंगे। इस पर अली अलैहिस्सलाम ने खुद कहा, खुदा की कसम, हम इस वक्त कामयाब हो गए। फिर रसूल खुदा सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया, ऐ अली, उस जात की कसम जिसने मुझे सच्चा नबी बनाया और लोगों की निजात की खातिर रिसालत के लिए मुंतखब किया। पहले जमीन की जिस महफिल में भी हमारी ये हदीस बयान की जाएगी कि जिसमें हमारे शियाने अली और दोस्त इकट्ठे होंगे, उस महफिल में जो कोई दुखी होगा, खुदा उसका दुख दूर करेगा। जो गमजदा होगा उसको गम से छुटकारा देगा और जो कोई हाजतमंद होगा, खुदा उसकी हाजत पूरी करेगा। फिर अली अलैहिस्सलाम ने फरमाया, खुदा, हमने इस वक्त कामयाबी और बरकत पाई और काबे के रब की कसम, इसी तरह हमारे शियाने अली भी कामयाब हुए और दुनिया और आखिरत में खुश नसीब ठहरे। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला मुहम्मदिन व आले मुहम्मद। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला मुहम्मदिन व आले मुहम्मद। ओ यस।
जो आ पर गुरजार आ रजा उस वापसी को मरने की हम कोई शाम है मेरी से कलवा जीने की दुआ पा गर्दन शहे कस के झुका शह बोले के हम समझे जो हुए ध्यान ध्यान तुम प्यारे तुम्हारे चलो
No, Salem. On.
आ रन में जब बात की सवारी आई रन में जब बात हुए रस की सवारी आई लाशें अकबर पाए माँ भरती हुई सारी यारी उठ मेरे नाम को से है तुम्हारी ना तो हो नज है ना नहीं मिलना सदके तुम पर से मैंने जहाँ की हंस दिल में यही कहती थी बती दी है खुदा ने दौलत होगा जो मैया तो गला अपना कटा
لا صلي صلوات. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفر إنه كان توابا. صدق الله مولانا العظيم. صلوات. We have taken as our theme the 7 doors to a spiritual life. And by the metaphor of the doors, we mean that of the various disciplines that we can put ourselves into, the 7 doors is used symbolically as thanks to Seven Doors to Islam by John Reynard. Over the last previous talks, we have looked at submission and piety. Today, it will be our effort to understand discipline. Inshallah, tomorrow we will be looking at knowledge and remembrance. Beyond that, we will be looking at fellowship, community, and on the last day, we will be looking at love. These are the seven doors. By way of brief recap from yesterday, it has been our effort to explain and try to understand this enormous significance of taqwa. Taqwa is almost like another name for Islam. If from one point of view, the Prophet was inviting humanity to Islam, he was also inviting mankind to taqwa. One way of understanding taqwa then is that the Prophet was inviting everyone to not a life of excess, abundance, extravagance, waste, not a life of impulse, ego, manyness, not a life of dissipation, deviation, prevarication, not conspicuous consumption, but restraint and understanding that the planet does not have, cannot be exploited. A lifestyle based on exploitation inevitably leads to genocide, inevitably leads to enormous harm at every level of being. So we looked at taqwa as a kind of a boundary that we put upon ourselves willingly. We accept that our human limitations are real. We accept that the planet on which we live, the materials that we have, are a gift, not for waste, not for throwing away and kind of taking for granted, but seen as a kind of a sign, seen as an ayat, seen as grace, and therefore respected, and therefore used well. So yesterday we looked at these two different ways of looking at taqwa. One was this idea of restraint, for which we narrated many anecdotes, definitions. But then we turn to the Imam al-Muttaqin and his incredible way of looking at taqwa. And we saw that the Imam did not see it as a restraint. Please let there be no misunderstanding. Of course, at no point is the Imam talking about ridiculous way of not taking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's permissions and prohibitions as serious. Not at all. I mean, that is simply not part of the conversation. So, of course, one is clear that the prohibitions of Allah have priority, and that one has to keep away from them. But the Imam is talking about a faculty. The Imam is talking about a muscle, a moral muscle, a muscle which grows when you exercise it. And throughout Nahj al-Balagha, the references that we find, and I will not repeat anything of much of yesterday, but just as a recap, a sentence that got perhaps left out yesterday was, you not only does the attraction of sin become irrelevant to you, but that the true nature of sin makes you revolted by it, inner revulsion by it. You immediately see not just the temptation of sin, and by sin here, I simply mean the linguistic note here. The word sin from the Latin root comes from missing the mark. It comes from archery. The metaphor comes from archery. To sin is to draw your bow and arrow and try to hit the mark. Sin is to miss the mark. Brilliant. It just manages to catch the whole point. It isn't this, we've spoken on the first day about this cringe-worthy, this imposition of sanctimonious piety upon other people. We put all that aside. So sin is not just this list of prohibitions, but sin is missing the mark. We ourselves have set up a threshold of excellence, and when we met that, we have sinned. It is only in our eyes. Putting it very, very personally, there are times when I conduct a workshop. The people attending the workshop, usually out of generosity, say nice things. But inside, when I reflect, I realize where I have missed. I could have done better. I did know better. But something distracted me, my attention fell somewhere else. Somewhere I got distracted, or I forgot, or whatever, a personal lapse. Inside, I know that I did not deliver as well as I could have. None of the audience knows or will ever know. I know sin. That is sin, missing the mark. That. So when the Imam is speaking about, he is talking about not just an immunity, but a revulsion from the obvious prohibitions of Allah. You see the temptation to it, and you immediately see the causality and the downward spiral of it. You see where it leads. You see that it leads to a burning. You see that it leads to not an extinguishing and a cooling of desire, but an inflammation of desire. And you see the consequences of that, and you see immediately, and you're no longer attracted by it. The Imam's understanding of our moral mission is truly magnificent. And on that brief recap, we begin our topic for today. Salam. I would also, I'm beholden to the compliments and the remarks and the feedback that people who are listening have given to me here and electronically. And I am grateful that this effort is finding some value in your hearts, and for which I'm grateful to this opportunity to share some of this wisdom. And indeed, the source of all wisdom, to whom we pray that our minds and our hearts be guided and enlightened in ways that please. Ameen. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Mawlana Muhammad wa alihi. Our theme today is discipline. And we have been giving the word Islam, sabr. We have been saying patience. And as I open up this topic of spirituality, I would like to benefit from a secular definition. Let's learn something interesting. Today, for a long while, I'll be benefiting from a piece of paper. We have said that one of the ways in which we want to live is, we made a distinction on the first day between religion and religiosity. We made that distinction. And from there, we understood that many of us, rightly, want to have nothing to do with this sanctimonious piety of religiosity, but do want a genuine path. And therefore, we use the word spiritual for it. Fine. Of course, that also goes over into what Sheikh Fazl Lahiri calls the goofy Sufis, the people who are actually rightly seeking a path, but unfortunately they are also given to as much impulse and goofiness. So we understand the dangers there as well. We live in strange times. Here, in a book published 2009, is a definition of spirituality. I thought I would actually quote it to be able to share with you where the problem lies. Let's take a look. Spirituality is a distinctive, potentially creative, and universal dimension of human experience. Distinctive, yes. Spirituality makes distinctions between other kinds of experiences. Potentially creative, yes. All creative geniuses have always said that what we have created was inspired. It is at us something power. We'll come to that. Something. These ideas are not mine. They came to me, as the great poets always say. I was merely a poet. I was merely a pen in the hand, someone who held it. A very, very courteous way of saying I was only transcribing the words as they came to me. They are not mine. So creative and universe. It is an absolute fact that from the jungles of Amazon to the highest civilized outpost of humanity, all of humanity has affirmed that there is something other than this material world. For now, we'll just pause that. And universal dimension of human experience arising from both within the inner subjective awareness of individuals and within communities, social groups, and traditions. Lovely. Yes, had spirituality only been individual, we would have had a tough time distinguishing it between when somebody's lost their equilibrium. As somebody once put it, वही फलां साहब ने तो महसूस किया कि उन्होंने हजरत इब्राहिम अलैहिस्सलाम को ख्वाब में देखा. Fair enough. Now from there it is just a few steps to not just being in the presence of the great ones, but losing your equilibrium. So I said, yes, but be careful. Be careful with some of this dream stuff. Be careful. Because there are people not far from Karachi who think that they are Jesus Christ in the morning and Julius Caesar in the afternoon. These are people who have lost their marbles. These are people who have lost their equilibrium. Be careful. Had it been totally subjective, it would have been this. But it is not. It is awareness of individuals and within communities, social groups, and traditions. It is affirmed by a systematic tradition of the past and affirmed by other people who belong to that tradition. So it is affirmed by outside of me, although witnessed by inside of me. A part of me inside experiences it, but then there are others who have experienced it similar and they are able to affirm it. In that, I find my community, and in that, I find my tradition. It may be experienced as relationship with that which is intimately inner, immanent, and personal within the self and others, and or as a relationship with that which is wholly other, inverted commas, transcendent and beyond the self. So the relationship is that between what we call my heart. When something disturbs me, quickly give you an example. A tourist traveling in a very fine natural place, no time for any other details, was standing on the side of this magnificent river, blue tinged, early morning, the sky, the clouds, others reflected in the water, and he's enjoying the beauty of it. But suddenly, he sees a brown colored material seeping in from inside and polluting and changing the shape of the water. And he turns around and he sees from the nearby village the effluent, the sewage, the junk. is being poured into the water. And he says, at that moment, when I saw that dirt and that brownish tinged, changing the color of the pure water, he says, I actually felt a kind of pain, not in my feet or my hands, not a migraine in my head, but a pain in a part of me. And at that moment, I realized I and the river were one. We were the same. I felt an affinity with the river, and just as the river felt the pain of the pollution, I, as a human being, felt it on behalf of the river. I felt something in me, pain. Just an amazing experience. This is sort of from the diaries of these kind of people. So there is something, spirituality is experienced as something that happens entirely inside. And here is one example. Or as a relationship with that which is wholly other. Now, because we live in a secular world and authors are living in the year 2009, they won't say God. They won't say the angelic. They won't say the other dimension because that involves too many other things. They will just say the other. We will come to that. Transcendent and beyond the self. It is experienced as being fundamental or ultimate importance and is thus concerned with matters of meaning, purpose in life, truth, and values. This relationship is not a kind of an ecstatic image, experience of sheer joy, a fundamental or ultimate importance. It is considered extremely important, which is true. Those who have experienced these kinds of moments consider them to be epiphanies, consider them to be moments of light in an otherwise consciousness of darkness, which makes something explicit, beholden, and clear, such that in the rest of your life, that thing is never unclear again. The epiphany is of this quality, and as in our language we say, ये अल्लाह सुब्हानहू तआला का नूर है जिसे जब एक दफा कोई गोशाए अंधेरा अपनी जात के अंधेरा का कोई हिस्सा पर एक दफा नूर पड़ जाता है, एक चीज समझ आ जाती है, तो फिर पूरी जिंदगी वो चीज दोबारा मसला नहीं करती. There is never any doubt about it. It is clear forever. That's why it is divine. Okay. Thus, concerned with matters of meaning and purpose in life, truth, and values. A bit verbose, but okay. All spirituality is concerned with these four words: purpose, meaning, purpose, life, meaning, purpose, truth, and values. No matter how much, shall we say, 21st century we get, no matter how much vibrantly modern we get, the fact remains that something in us is averse to doing something totally meaningless. If I was to see my efforts being trampled upon, being considered rejected and of no value, I will make protest. If somebody takes something that I consider of value to be worthy of neglect or pushing aside, I will take a stand. For that which I locate my value in is that in which I locate myself. So all human beings go through an experience where they notice this. Purpose. Let me just expand on this a little bit. Nobody really living for long wants to do anything which is purposeless or meaningless. We all seek meaning. We all seek purpose. We may be mistaken in our purposes. That is true. We may be mistaken in our meaning. That is true. But that is not the point. The point is We don't actually volitionally, intentionally do something which is known to be meaningless. A moment from one of my trainings, I opened up this question. I was talking to people who belong to a bank, a high-ranking bank, and these were people of very, very high rank, director level. And I threw them an issue. I said, "Okay, gentlemen," and they were all gentlemen. One of those problems of our times. I said, "Gentlemen, if I said to you that there is a very fine shamiana on the beach, Seaview Beach, a very fine shamiana, very well, and you are to spend a day with this very fine plastic pail, and all you have to do all day is to fill in this bucket of plastic with sand. Easy work, not no effort. And then just push it back again and then fill it up again. And you have to do this from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock. You'll be served a cup of tea. Then you begin again, 11:30 to 1 o'clock. You'll be served very good lunch. And you begin from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. All you have to do is fill in this pail of on the beach with sand and then empty it again and then fill it up again. And for all this, you'll be paid 10,000 rupees a day. Okay. And this, okay. I said, all right. For how many days will you do it? Now, there were 40 people in the room, and 37 of them said, we will never, ever do such a stupid thing at all. In fact, one of them joked and said, I will pay that other person 10,000 K to say, get off my. I will not only not do it, but I'll stop you from making anyone else do it. So that. I said, okay. To the three gentlemen who raised their hands and said, I will do it. I said, please tell me. One gentleman said 3 days. One of them said 7 days. One of them said 10 days. I said, oh, that's interesting. Why? Why will you do it? Oh, he says, I'll do it for 3 days because my son needs admission in a university, and that's the amount I need. I said, hold on to that. And the other gentleman, 7 days, he said, oh, I need that for an operation I need to do for a member of the family, and that's the amount I need. I said, all right, similar to the person who will do. I said, you see, gentlemen, the point is proved. You will not do a meaningless thing for the sake of meaninglessness. See, you have a purpose. A son's education, a family's operation. You have a purpose, which means even the meaningless thing, which is meaningless in itself, isn't meaning. You will not do anything which is meaningless. We all seek meaning. Spirituality is an organized way of seeking meaning. But now here's my topic. This definition is okay from the point of view it is. But do you see, it is entirely dedicated to the individual agency. I am the one who's doing the seeking. I am the one who's trying to be spiritual. The onus is on me. The beginning is on me. Whereas now, when I actually take a book called Islamic Spirituality, it is by a Turkish author, and I read only the opening sentence, the opening introduction and the spirituality. Watch. We've just heard a definition of spirituality by a Western author. The inner, the outer, the other, the purpose, the meaning. Here are the opening 3 sentences. That's the heading, spirituality. That's Islamic spirituality. And here it goes. Spirituality is related to the world of spirit. Spirit, inverted commas, in Islamic parlance is related to the word ruh. In the Quran, ruh is mentioned on several occasions. And for me, the most important aspect of spirit from the Quran is how little knowledge human beings have. In 3 lines, he is hit upon the core issue. The issue is the word ruh. Now, this is the word spirit. From there, we have the spirit who has brought the Quran in. What I'm getting at is, notice straight away here the meaning is not in the human being is not in quest of meaning. That's only part of it. The other part is that the divine is also in the quest of the human being. The meaning is an effulgence that comes from there. It is revelation. This is how revelation comes upon. So we are dealing with a totally different world when we deal with the discipline, when we deal with the discipline of hope. When we speak about patience, we are speaking about this. We are speaking about a spirituality of patience in which we wait until something can be said to us. Salawat. Hope you are sufficiently lost in this. Let me open this for you. Wordsworth. Literature is a terrible thing. It somehow pervades. The eye, it cannot choose but see. This is resolution and independence. The eye, it cannot choose but see. We cannot bid the ears be still. Our senses feel wherever they be, against or with or will. The eye, it cannot choose but see. We cannot bid the ear be still. Our senses feel wherever they be, against or with or will. Think you, midst all this mighty sum of things forever speaking, that nothing of itself shall come, but we must still be seeking? Now, there comes the entire paradox right there. There is a universe singing the signs of Allah. There, in every tree, in every leaf, in every river, and every waterfall, in every mountain, in every valley, there, in the signs of creation, are the signature of the Maker, the Creator. Think you, midst all this mighty sum of things forever speaking, that nothing of itself shall come, but we must still be seeking? And in that paradox lies our entire spiritual quest, a quest of patience. We think that we shall get meaning, but the source of meaning is interested in self-disclosure, is interested in disclosing that source of meaning. And this then is the invitation. This is read. This is the first revelation. Read in the name of your Lord, Creator. Read. Read the signs, read creation, read the states of your own being, read your own states of highs and lows, and read your states of anger and despair, read your states of depression, upset, ecstasy, joy. Read all of these states to find, read in the name of your Lord who created. And our Sufi master's commentary on this single verse, Surah Iqra, you got that, goes, after quoting read, and his particular way of punctuation was also quite interesting. Read, Iqra, Bismi Rabbika Lazi Khalaq. Read, exclamation mark. Read, exclamation, in the name of the Lord. What I see in that is anything you read, any book at all, can be read as an act of worship, can be read in the name of any book at all. My own personal understanding of this is that if the Quran calls itself Kitab, the mother book, the source of books, then all books on this planet are its children. Therefore, every book you read ultimately belongs to the divine book. Read, exclamation mark, in the name of the Lord. And then he continues, and what will you read if not your life? And what will you know if not your Lord? Salam. So we are saying that today our exploration is the discipline of hope. And this is my translation of the word patience. Patience has been defined, sabr, patience. Patience has been defined as the core virtue. The Prophet upon whom be peace was asked, what is faith? And he said, one half patience. When he was asked, what is fasting? He said, one half patience. So if Islam is one half patience and fasting is one half sabr, well, Islam, then it becomes one fourth. It makes a lot of sense. Patience, sabr. The teachers tell us that in life, things will either go your way, or either you will achieve the things that you wish to achieve, or you will not achieve the things that you wish to achieve. In both cases, you need to have patience. Some remarkable wisdom follows. Let's take the first case. Things do go my way. Things do go the way I wish they would. I earn an amount which is pleasing to me. I have family and friends who are loving, caretaking, nourishing. I have a relationship with my boss, quite good. I have work which is healthy, which is good. Things are going my way. Patience. Be careful. Professor Karar used to say, बेटा मुफलिसी का इम्तिहान आसान है, आसाइश का इम्तिहान मुश्किल है. The test of not having is easy. The test of having is hard. Patience. It is so easy when I have the means to indulge, to be extravagant, be impulsive. Patience. It takes a great amount of patience to not just create a good relationship, but to maintain it. As somebody put it, um, it takes one error of judgment to break a 20-year relationship. It takes 20 years to build it, and one stupidity and it's gone. Patience. So when things go my way, patience makes a lot of sense. When things don't go my way, also patience makes a lot of sense. The masters say that you need to have patience at 3 stages before you begin any action. You need to have patience before you begin, because then you need to check whether what you're doing is worthy in the first place or not. Let's take a simple example. I'm quoting Ghazali, but you can apply it to just about anything. But Imam Ghazali has a wisdom, one of the great ones. He says, as he's सब्र के मामले में हर काम के आगाज में, दरमियान में और अंजाम में सब्र पे नजर रखो. So he says, मिसाल के तौर तुमने नमाज की नियत, तो आगाज ही में सब्र की जरूरत है कि अब तुम्हारी नियत जामे हो. ये सबसे मुश्किल, ये सबसे मुश्किल. The beginning is always hard, and this is true for anything. Okay. In the beginning, you need patience. You need patience to put aside all the other temptations that dissipate your attention, that you wanted to focus yourself onto the ibadat you wish to do. So, patience in the beginning. Then, patience in the middle. जब तुम इबादत के वो तमाम अदायगी करो, तो उसके तमाम आदाब को ठीक से बरूए काट लो, सब्र से. तो अगर कयाम है, सुकून से. रुकू है, सुकून से. सजदा और तमाम दुआएं जो दरमियान में पढ़नी है, सुकून से. Brilliant. Because वहां जल्दबाजी is going to jeopardize. और जब तुम पूरी कर चुको तो अब तो और ज्यादा सब्र है. कहीं तुम्हारे दिल में गुमान तो नहीं आ गया कि देखो, सी, आई हैव डन माय गुड डीड फॉर टुडे, आज का कर लिया, ये देखो सारे लोगों ने नहीं किया. Sheikh Sadi quotes a nice moment. Sheikh Sadi he narrates a moment when he was traveling with his 11-year-old son, and they had stopped overnight for a place. His father was a great man, and it was kind of a holy night. So all the other people in the caravan who were traveling were all asleep. The father got up, the son also got up, great energy, dad. And he's noticed his father do the wuzu and take the janamas out. And the little boy, 10 years old, also did the wuzu, got the janamas out, began praying behind his father. After about a few minutes, the son said, Dad, isn't it great that we are all praying and all these people are asleep? And the father said, Son, it would have been much better for you to fall asleep than to have this ridiculous arrogance that you're doing anything worthy. This, the patience that is needed to stop oneself from feeling holier than thou, to stop oneself from feeling a bit above. Ah, there is the worst arrogance there is. Patience. So we are looking at discipline. Now, I've taken this example straight away from Imam Ghazali and from that. But you apply this to everything. You decide to write a book. Patience begins right there. Because of all the gazillion topics you could write on, you need to focus on just one topic that you want to write. A lot of patience there to put aside all the other things. And then you decide that you're going to map out all the chapters. And you say, okay, I need to have 20 chapters, and it will be this much in the beginning. A lot of patience to keep it. A lot of patience to actually stop doing all the other stuff. Mostly it is doom scrolling, but we won't go there. And to put all that away and to sit down and actually do the writing. And there's patience in the middle. And then after it is done, the patience it takes to edit it, fine tune it, get feedback, get people to read it and tell you what else to include in it, exclude in it. And that is why many of us have good dreams of becoming authors, but never get around to quite doing it. And of all people, I am guilty of this. Why would I worry about it? I'm guilty of this. Patience in the beginning, patience in the middle. This then is our fourth door of spirituality. If today you wish to understand what are the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses, it is things that patience. Or bus lots of Quranic verses that have the word patience in it. Let us take it as a remarkable, from one of the most remarkable. So I've also as a remarkable. Just two comments, and I will move to the third part of our talk today. Of all the occurrences of the word ma'a, mim and ma'a, with the ayat of the Quran which says, Inna Allaha ma'as sabirin, is the most uplifting verse. Verily, Allah is with those who are patient. Notice what it actually means. This word ma. Every time you read that in the Quran, pause right there. The word is used for other things as well. Not the time for more details there. Inna Allaha ma'as sabirin. Verily, Allah is with those who are patient. Notice, Allah Ta'ala never quite says ma with any of the modes of worship, but He does say it with patience. You see, patience is a silent virtue. It is an invisible virtue. Only you know that you are being patient. Other people outside watching you on a video camera would never catch the fact that you are being patient. You are standing in a queue where people behind you and ahead of you are blabbering. You are keeping quiet. You know your turn will come. Slowly, slowly. The video camera would never catch the fact that you are being patient. You know that. Inna Allah ma'as sabirin. Allah is with those who are patient. But the other occurrence, which is a short surah, understand, I had this unique theme to it, which is my masters tell me that the surahs of the Quran form a loop, a circle. And this one is truly amazing. Short, one of the short surahs. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wal Asr. You immediately know what it is. Swear by time that mankind is in loss, except. Now I'm going to give a figurative translation which will capture the nuance of time. Although the surah says man has wasted time, actually it is about saving time. It's very interesting. The thing just changes. I swear by time that man has wasted most of it, except the time spent in harmonizing your heart with your head and your hand. Iman is this. Illallazina aminu. Aminu is to make your head and your heart and get them in alignment. Whatever you believe is an alignment of your head and your heart, your rationality and your emotional investment. If they are in alignment, if what you believe, what you claim you believe, and what you believe to be true are the same, then immediately it will follow your behavior. Wa'amalu salihat, your hand. Then, when the head and the heart and the hand are in alignment, all the time spent in getting them in alignment is time saved. The rest of it is lost. Now we are reading it in a different way. I hope you're with me on this. So let me pause here.
No.
Surah Al-Asr has been truly one of the most remarkable words of meditation, and the way in which meaning has been written it, Dr. Asrar has said, great man. Dr. Asrar Ahmad has said in his notes on this, इस सूरह मुबारका में अरबी जबान के इख्तिसार जो कमाल है वो सिर्फ खालिक कायनात को ज़िक्र देता है. The way in which the brevity of the surah has captured the depth of meaning is so powerful that only the creator could have done very high accolade to it. So time saved, the time spent in harmonizing the head and the heart, time spent in connecting the rationality of my beliefs with the emotional attraction that I find to the truth, the time spent is saved. Time other than that is lost. Then, وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ. Inculcate the truth, the right, the just. The word haq in Arabic captures these three meanings, and therefore it has these three. A good way to understand anything is to understand it through opposites. So, in the Quran, Arabic language has three meanings: the truth, the right, the just. So we have haq. Haq baat kaho, and the opposite of that would be falsehood. Jhoothi baat. Then we have the haq, the right. Yatim ka mal, yatim ka haq usse de do. So this would be the second meaning of haq, right. And the just. Unjust, the opposite of that would be zulm. So we have haq capturing all three of these meanings. And all the time spent in preaching, inculcating, passing on the truth, the right, the just is time saved. And all the opposites is time lost. And last, what the wasal is sabr. Now, it is very interesting that the word sabr, the last word here, is actually a kind of a passive virtue. It isn't something which you actively do, though it is. In the language of the Quran, it is an active word. It is something which you do. Watawasab is sabr. Whenever you inculcate hope in a person, whenever you raise a person's aspiration, when a person is down and you say, come, get up, let's do this. Of course, you can do it. Shabash, tum kar sakte ho. This one wonderful Shabash, tum kar sakte ho. The kind of mentoring we do to youngsters, the kind of mentoring we do to members of the family, the coaching we do. There are days when I fail in my performance, but somebody sees hope in me and says, no, 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 never mind. It was just a lapse. Come, get on with it. You are capable of more. Is what the Vasov is sabr. That is a call to patience. And I find it interesting that ultimately patience and the first word of the Surah Al Asr are directly related. Patience is the letting go of the consequences to time. Patience is this. सबर ये है कि जब मैं किसी काम का आगाज करूं और उसके अंजाम को वक्त के हवाले कर दूं. That is patience. अगर मुझे नतीजा भी चाहिए मेरे वक्त पर तो वो नहीं होगा. The universe has other laws and other systems. And never mind all the universe's laws, all of us are extremely aware of Murphy's law. If anything can go wrong, it will. So we who know that the universe works with its own patience is knowing I have done a beginning, I have planted the seed, I have done the opening, I have. After that, the consequences, the results, that is not. When you do that, you have given the finest. So there we go. I swear by time that you will need it because that is what patience is. So I have constantly been aware that the particular state of the planet in which we are in is a serious mess. At the planetary level, at the global level, I'm not even talking about though I can, the wars, the conflicts, and the other things. It is not my subject to get in more detail there, but I do want to point out just one brief remark, and I will move on because I do need to go in detail about this. Inshallah, tomorrow we'll have an opportunity there. But I just want to share with you a word. It is with some reflection that I'm giving it to you as a gift. I have been talking today about hope. I have been talking today about the inculcation of hope, inspiration, the hope that things will turn out well. But I would be amiss if I did not share with you the evil twin of hope. The evil twin of hope is hopium. Lovely word. It's a new word. It will soon be in the dictionary thanks to this conversation. Hopium. Hopium is the evil twin of hope. बस आज के लिए एक definition दिल में रख लीजिए. It is a word which comes to me with great pain because yes, we see the planetary destruction and the climate change and the heat that we endure every day and the rain that comes and the snowfall and the ice that falls on Islamabad and just for 35 minutes and wrecks the city. These things are happening and will happen more. At such times we have in us a hopelessness. Also at such times we have hopes. So the teachers tell me, my teachers tell me, take care, hope is good, hopium is not. And here it is. Hopium is an irrational belief that things will be all right while we break laws of biology, physics, and environment. We do deliberately the kinds of things that are causing all this, and we say, "नहीं ना, little bit of plastic, कोई हर्ज नहीं, ये ठीक हो जाएगा ना." Then ultimately we will invent something. We have this hopium is this. Hopium is an idiotic belief. We will continue having our lifestyles. वो सब business as usual, which is the most terrible thing that we can do at this time. No, we don't need to restrain ourselves. We don't need to do anything. However, opium, नहीं नहीं वो हो जाएगा. Okay, yeah, so much plastic बहुत बुरी चीज. ये जो थोड़ा सा जो मैं डालूं इससे क्या फर्क पड़ता है? There we go. There we go. वो माइक्रो प्लास्टिक्स, वो बैक्टीरिया आ गई ना जो माइक्रो प्लास्टिक को खा जाती है. Yeah, we heard that. Somebody with statistics has told us that 3% of that plastic is being eaten by the bacteria. The 97% is in our oceans, and it is not going away in a hurry. It is going to stay there. So with that there'll be more coming on this, inshallah, tomorrow. But I hope that this word is clarified from the evil twin of hope, which is hopium. Opium is this irrational belief that no matter what laws of physics, chemistry, astronomy, gravity, all of that, we will still have good conditions while we are breaking these laws. No, we will not. Things are going to get worse. Right? So, we have talked about patience, and it is strange that the passage I have chosen today and the hero of Karbala that I've chosen today is one of those synchronicities that here too the word sabr comes as the central virtue in these. We bring our conversation to a close. गुफ्तगू को मैं इस मरहले पे रोक रहा हूँ. दिस इज अल्लामा तालिब जौहरी. जो सब्र के इम्तिहान में कामयाब हो जाए वो मिन्नी, जो इब्राहिम और किसी भी नबी का मुकम्मल इत्तिबा करे वो मिन्नी. इब्राहिम खुद इम्तिहान सब्र में कामयाब हुए. बेटे को तह तह तैक लिटा दिया. ये इब्राहिम का इम्तिहान है, सब्र है. इब्राहिम अपने हाथों से अपने बेटे को ज़िबह कर दो. जब इब्राहिम ने इस्माइल को ज़िबह करने के लिए लिटा दिया तो देखो, बाप हो तो ऐसा, बेटा हो तो ऐसा. इस्माइल क्या कहने लगे? इस्माइल ने कहा, बाबा आप अपनी आंखों पे पट्टी बांध लें. कहा, बेटे क्यों? कहा, बाबा बात यह है कि एक बाप के लिए अपने बेटे का तड़पना देखा नहीं जाता. ज़िबा करने के लिए इब्राहिम ने अपनी आंखों पे पट्टी बांध ली ताकि बेटे का तड़पना न देखे. सलाम हो हुसैन पर कि बेटा बर्छी खाए तड़प रहा है. बहुत प्यारा बच्चा था. इसका नाम है अकबर. खानदान मोहम्मद का बड़ा प्यारा ऐसा बच्चा कि जब ये मैदान की तरफ जाने लगा तो मेरे हुसैन ने रेश मौत मुतहर को अपने हाथों में लेकर दुआ की, या अल्लाह तू गवाह रहना कि जब लश्कर यजीद से लड़ने के लिए मेरा बेटा जा रहा है तो जो रफ्तार में, गुफ्तार में, सीरत में तेरे नबी के मुशाबे. ये बच्चा जो करबला में मैदान में जवान था, अभी बच्चा भी तो था ना. इसे पाला है शहजादी जैनब. क्या तुम्हें मालूम है सकीना रात को जब इसे नींद आती थी तो वो कहाँ सोती थी? हुसैन के सीने पर सोती। और मुकातिल लिखते हैं ये बच्चा आदी था शहजादी जैनब के सीने पे सोने का। अजीब मरहला फिक्र है। कैसी फुफ्फी, कैसा भतीजा। और शहजादी जैनब ने इस बच्चे को से इतना ताल्लुक था कि अकबर अगर घर से बाहर जाएं और आने में उन्हें देर हो जाए तो ये बीबी दरवाजे के पीछे खड़े होकर अकबर का इंतजार करती थी। तो मैं अकबर को पहचान लिया। एक मरहला आया जब अकबर ने हाथ जोड़े और कहा, बाबा मुझे जंग की इजाजत। हुसैन बैठे हुए हैं कुर्सी पर, अकबर सामने खड़े हैं, कह रहे हैं बाबा मुझे जंग की इजाजत है। सुनोगे हुसैन ने जवाब क्या दिया? हुसैन ने अकबर को सर से पांव तक देखा और कहने लगे, अकबर काश तुम्हारे पास तुम जैसा कोई बेटा होता और वो तुमसे मरने की इजाजत मांगते तो मैं देखता तुम उसे किस तरह इजाजत देते। बस अकबर समझ गए, बाबा ऐसी इजाजत नहीं देंगे। एक मर्तबा अपना सर हुसैन के पैर पर रख दिया, हुसैन के कदमों पर रख दिया। हुसैन घबराए खड़े हो गए। अकबर तेरी सूरत मेरे नाना के मुशाबे है। अच्छा मैंने तुझे इजाजत दी, लेकिन अकबर एक बात सुन के जाओ। मैंने तुझे इजाजत दे दी लेकिन तुझे तेरी माँ ने नहीं पाला, तेरी फूफी ने पाला है। जा फूफी से भी इजाजत ले। अकबर आए कि कैसे इजाजत लेने के लिए। कासिम कैसे रुखसत हुए तारीख में है, अब्बास कैसे रुखसत हुए तारीख में है, और मोहम्मद कैसे रुखसत हुए तारीख में है। लेकिन अकबर को बीबियों ने कैसे रुखसत किया तारीख में नहीं मिलता। बस एक जुमला है, ये कहकर जब अकबर इजाजत के लिए आए तो बीबियों ने बाल खोल दिए, चारों तरफ अकबर को घेर लिया और कहा, अल्लाहुम्मा अरहमना गर बितना, परवरदिगार हमारी गुर्बत पर रहम कर। रावी कहता है खेमे का पर्दा 18 मरतबा उठा, 18 मरतबा गिरा। रावी कहता है पर्दा था तो इसलिए था कि अकबर निकलना चाहते थे, पर्दा गिरता था इसलिए कि कोई दामन पकड़े खींच लेता था। तारीख में दामन खींचने वाले का तो नाम नहीं। बस मैं इतना कहता हूं कि जिम्मेदारी के साथ कि अगर किसी बड़े ने अकबर को रोका होता तो उसका शाना थाना होता ना। उसका दामन थामने का मतलब है कि छोटी बहन सकीना जब अकबर निकलता था तो दामन पकड़ के खींच कर कहती थी, भैया अपनी बहन को किसके हवाले छोड़ के जाते। अल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम।
हाँ शबी है माँ में जमान खींचते हैं तस्वुर में तस्वीर जान खींचते हैं शबी है माँ में कहा रो के अकबर ने ऐसे समझा ए सीने से बाबा सेना खींचते हैं शबी है मामे अकबर ने कहा रो कर है दर्द जरा थम जा बाबा मेरे सीने से ना खींच रहे हैं अकबर ने कहा रो कर दर्द जरा थम जा बाबा मेरे सीने से ना खींच रहे हैं है बहते लहू रुक जा है वास्ता सोहरा का बाबा मेरे सीने से ना खींच रहे हैं पट्टी मेरे बाब आंखों पे भी भी है खुले हाथों से रन में मेरी कुर्बानी है दादा खलीला को है वक्त कयामत का बाबा मेरे सीने से ना खींच रहे हैं यस्र की तरफ आंखें हरदम मेरी रहती है बहुत कम है सांसें भी उलझती हैं आसिद मेरी सुवरा के जल्दी से जरा जा बाबा मेरे सीने से ना खींच रहे हैं अकबर ने कहा रो कर है दर्द जरा थम जा बाबा मेरे सीने से ना खींच रहे हैं अकबर की गुजारिश है लिल्लाह नर्द कर का शेवा है दुनिया की मदद करना बाबा की मदद करने आ जाइए दादा दादा मेरे सीने से ना खींच रहे हैं अकबर ने कहा रो कर है दर्द जरा थम जा बाबा मेरे सीने से ना खींच रहे हैं अरमान जो दिल में है में ही न दफना दे ऐसा ना हो जैनब को जाकर कोई बतला दे प्यारी फुफी अम्मा से बर्दाश्त न ये होगा बाबा मेरे सीने से ना खींच रहे हैं अकबर ने कहा रोकर, है दर्द जरा थम जा। बाबा मेरे सीने से सेना खींच रहे हैं। मरने का नहीं है गम, गम है तो बस इतना है, से मुद्दत से बैठी हुई सुगरा है। सुनकर ये सबर शायद मर जाएगी वो दुखिया। बाबा मेरे सीने से सेना खींच रहे हैं। कहता था तकल्लुम हिम्मत जो मेरी होती, खुद अपने ही हाथों से मैं खींचता ये बर्छी। तकलीफ नहीं अपनी, है दर्द मुझे इसका। बाबा मेरे सीने से सेना खींच रहे हैं। मैं बहते लहू रुक जा, है वास्ता सुगरा का। बाबा मेरे सीने से सेना खींच रहे हैं। बाबा मेरे सीने से सेना खींच रहे हैं।
Prayer for good health to Allah's grace. Allah's grace is a free and unmerited favor He shows mankind. O loving Allah, we pray that you will comfort me in my suffering. Lend wisdom and skill to those who have to diagnose the disease I may suffer from, and heal me with your divine assistance and power, given to man in spiritual rebirth and sanctification. Give me the confidence in the power of your grace. O Allah, forgive us through your infinite mercy and grace. Transform our thinking, resulting in a new ideal to life, the life that would please you. Give us strength and courage to face tragedy, trials, and tribulations by turning to you in your glorious book. It is your divine energy that flows out of our being and shows us how to place one foot in front of the other. Help us to walk on the path of the righteous. Shower us with your choicest blessings that overwhelm us with your grace and reward us with spiritual breath, every good deed of ours that you recognize. Amen. Amen. Sallallahu Akbar. Mubarak, Allah, Rahim, Rahim, I particularly want you to pray for this child who's in hospital in London. She's 18 years old and she's the granddaughter of a dear friend of ours, Anisa Abdurrahman Alana. Doctors still in 10 days haven't been able to diagnose her problem. She's got some fluid around her palm. Please pray that she heal and they can understand what's wrong with her. And for anyone who's got anybody suffering, our prayers are with them.
Dua Shifa. What we do. We will do a brief dua Shifa for this particular person and indeed anyone else who is Neha. Okay. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. Ya Hafizu, Ya Hafizu, Ya Hafizu. Ya Shafiu, Ya Shafiu, Ya Shafiu. Ya Kafiu, Ya Kafiu, Ya Kafiu. Ya Ajibu, Ya Badiul Ajaib bil Khair, Ya Badiu, Ya Badiul Ajaib bil Khair, Ya Badiu, Ya Badiul Ajaib bil Khair, Ya Badiu, Ya Hafizu, Ya Hafizu, Ya Hafizu. Oh Lord, in the name of the particular names that we have recited just now, we particularly pray for the doctors, well-wishers, healers, and all those related to this patient to help her recognize, diagnose, and heal the particular ailment in your name, Ya Shafi. Ameen. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad. Would you say?
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. السلام عليك يا رسول الله. السلام عليك يا نبي الله. السلام عليك يا شفيع المسلمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله. السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء سيدة النساء العالمين. السلام عليك خديجة الكبرى أم المؤمنين والمؤمنات. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين، خصوصا سيدي مولاي يا أبو الفضل العباس ابن أمير المؤمنين سقاء يتيما لدشت كربلاء. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. आकाए गरीबान मौलाए बेकसान बादशाह खुरासान जामनानी यतीमान। अस्सलामु अलैका या मुगीस अश्शियति वज़्ज़वार السلطان أبو الحسن يا علي بن موسى أيها الرزاق ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان. علمان بالحكمة الزلف الزمان. السلام عليك الرحمة. السلام عليك شريك القرآن. السلام عليك عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك وزبورك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم صل على
Allahu Akbar.
Salut.
Ya Rasulullah. Ya Ali. Sayat.